Fight Fiend Forecast. I'm Joseph, the host, back for UFC Vegas 95, the full card prediction show. And let's get it started saying, I need the glasses this week. It's not an easy card to predict this week. Compared to last week, we went 10 for 13 on the picks. And the locks hit. The forecast of the week hit. The dog of the week, Tony Ferguson, did not hit. It was not Tony time. It was definitely not Tony time, but Frank Bush, he came back, produced a bag for forecasters with Azamat Murzakanov by knockout. Let me show you that. The locks of the week. Umar Nurmagomedov in the main event. He got it done. Unanimous decision there. Same thing for Sharabullet. Nurmagomedov. That's actually how I forecasted that fight. I thought it would be a decision fight for Sharabullet. That was on the Platinum picks. Both these fights, well, all four of these fights were high confidence. They were the locks. But I had 7 high confidence picks on the Platinum picks here, and they all hit. This week, my high confidence picks, I don't think they'll all hit. It's a very tough card to predict. I want to make that very clear. Azamat Murzakanov, round 3 KO, forecast of the week hit, and the lock of the week hit. 2-1. That was nice. Shamil Gaziev, he got it done there, and that was a prelim prop, submission or a decision for Shamil Gaziev. The most likely outcome, like I said, which I thought was the least likely outcome, was the knockout. Plus 100, plus 120. I was like, no way Shamil Gaziev is getting the knockout against Don'Tale Mayes. Submission, if anything, that's what I was playing as a little sprinkle bet, but submission or a decision, double your money, plus 125. It was a good bet to make. I seen it going the distance. If not, he was going to get that submission. I didn't see a chance of him getting the knockout. I don't think Shamil Gaziev can even strike that good. He had moments against Don'Tale Mayes that you would see what I'm talking about if you really watch that fight. I don't think his striking is that good. His gas tank is alright, but I don't think his striking is going to go that far in the heavyweight division. Shamil Gaziev, though, thankfully got it done as lock of the week by a unanimous decision. 3 decisions, only 1 finish for the lock. That's unusual, but unanimous decisions, and they got their hand raised. And that's all what matters. Now you check out Fatal. He's posting his bet win from the Lucky 7. Same with Dreadstocks. They also took the lock of the week parlay. Both of them had the Platinum Hammer, Gram Kutaladze, which is Dreadstocks' lock of the week. And we were sweating after he got dropped to Vucinic in the first round. I was thinking, is this the fight? First 1 out of 5? We lose the bet here. It wasn't looking good. I was very worried. I'm not going to lie. Gram Kutaladze, though, in the second round, third round, he showed up. He got it done. Unanimous decision. And yeah, thankfully he got it done because he got dropped. And the Lucky 7, that parlay there, I said, Mackenzie Dern, Lupito Godinez, that fight to go the distance was a lock play. Same with Marlon Vera and Davison Figueiredo. I thought both those plays to go the distance were probably lock of the week plays, along with Victoria Dudakova and Sam Hughes. Jai Herbert, Bedoya, over 1.5, fight to go the distance. That was a good one as well, so the Lucky 7 was lucky with Azamat Murzakanov knockout, Shamil Gaziev to win, Gram Kutaladze to win. So the Lucky 7 was definitely 100% lucky in Abu Dhabi. Produced a bag. $10. Paid back $100 to Giraffe So Giraffe took the bet. Fatal took the bet. Dreadstock took the bet. There's a lot of others that probably took the bet as well that listened. But they're not in Discord. Discord's absolutely free. You can post your forecast wins, your bets ahead of time. There's a forecast lobby. I post all my picks in the channel as well. I post my wins in the channel. We got the Lock of the Week, Dog of the Week, Prop of the Week channel here, Forecast of the Week channel. And Frank Bush, he came back. He brought us a bag. Credit to him. Thank him in the comments. He's coming back this week with his Forecast of the Week. So your most confident prop at plus money is the Forecast of the Week. And you can comment your most confident prop at plus money. Put hashtag Forecast of the Week. But Frank Bush, he's our guy. He has now went 3 in a row on his forecast of the week prediction. The last week, he had Nathaniel Wood decision. So he would have been 3 in a row. Now he's looking to go 4 in a row. So for Frank Bush, please go 4 in a row, buddy. I'm going to pick you again. And I know you're going to give me a good plus money prop. But like I said before I get going with the full card predictions, please comment your most confident prop at plus money. If you want to, put hashtag forecast of the week. But you're going to be challenging with Frank Bush each and every week. He's our guy. We can rely on him to produce the bags. UFC Vegas 95. We're going to need a bag. It's a tough card to predict. Is Frank Bush going to be the guy? I think he will be. If not, comment your most confident prop at plus money and be a nominee. We're going to get going with the full card predictions now. You've seen the locks from last week. You've seen the lucky 7. I gave that out on the props and parlay show, so stay tuned until the end of the week. I'll give out the lock parlay, the prop of the week on the main card, on the prelims, and I'll give out a parlay parfait. Maybe another lucky 7. A full card parlay is super hard to hit. It's almost impossible to sweep a card. Maybe once in a blue moon, once a year maybe, if we're lucky. But the lucky 7, we can hit those every week. Last week it was pretty safe. We could have went heavy. We didn't. We put $7.77 down, but the lucky 7 might be a bet we go heavy on this week. So stay tuned for the props and parlay show. I'll try to produce on a tough card to predict. Let's be honest. Now, you can join Discord for free. You can become a platinum forecaster for $5 a month on YouTube, on Patreon. Patreon will unlock all the lock channels in Discord, so that's an extra feature on Patreon. But on YouTube, there's a membership plan set up. You can see the picks, bets, everything like that. You can support me 2 different ways, whatever you like to do. $5 a month is not much to ask for. Early, exclusive access to everything. We got a line movement tracker as well. We got the forecasted percentage with the picks. You seen that on Instagram. If you didn't see the content on Instagram last week, go check it out. Okay? Enough of UFC Abu Dhabi. Enough of last week. We got to focus on this week. The glasses are on. I can't miss anything. If I do, if I miss something, we might get screwed. It's a tough card to predict. I got to stress that each and every couple minutes. Just so you know, we got to go light on the bets. Don't dump the bankroll on this card. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Trust me. We got a fucking pay-per-view coming up. We got to be safe and snipe some spots on this card. And we're going to start it off, UFC Vegas 95, the full card prediction show, with the first fight of the night. We got 11 fights at the Apex. Start time 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern time, 5 o'clock where I'm at. So it's going to be a good card, good time here. And it's a women's fight to start off the night in the strawweight division. The hood's going up. Little Red Riding Hood's coming to win here. Both girls from Brazil looking to produce a bag. Stephanie Luciano and Talita Alencar. Alencar coming in here as a plus 140 underdog. She's 5'1". Last time these two girls fought, it was a draw. Stephanie is the better striker. She has the better output, volume, and she can stop the takedowns. Talita Alencar is inaccurate with the takedowns. She hardly gets any control. I can't trust her as the dog. I think it's sharp to take this favorite. But it's hard to trust these women's fighters. It was a draw in their first fight. You got to make sure these judges can get it right. I can't trust the judges. So I can maybe trust Stephanie Luciano to win the fight, produce a bag. Little Red Riding Hood. She's 24. She's a younger fighter. I think she's the better striker. And I think the judges will pick the striker and not the wrestler, the person looking to grapple, go for control time, and make it boring. I think they're going to pick the striker who's accurate, walking forward, landing the more shots that look damaging. I got to go Stephanie Luciano as a favorite. I'm not chasing underdogs. I got 3 on this card. I think that's a good, healthy amount. Like I said, Luciano's the younger fighter. She has a reach advantage because Alencar's 5'1", She's underdog, and she's undersized. I think she's undersized to strike with some of these girls. She has a 59-inch reach, and Stephanie Luciano has a 66-inch reach. 7-inch reach disadvantage. It's not going to help out Alencar in this fight, and having that 59-inch reach, being 5'1", isn't going to help her in many other fights. She's very inaccurate with the takedowns. She doesn't get much control. She is good with submissions, but maybe against regional scene fighters. I think Stephanie Luciano is good enough here to get the win by a decision here. It's not one that I'm locking in. It's probably a medium confidence pick. Low confidence, high confidence. You know what I mean? Confidence level all over the place. Stephanie Luciano hopefully gets it done here. Little Red Riding Hood is what I'm going to call her. And she's going to hopefully produce a bag on a long shot parlay, something like that. She's not on a top ticket. She's going to be nowhere near a top ticket. It's a women's fight, first fight of the night. It's going to stay off a lot of things on this fight night because a lot of fights are tough to predict. And the next one is one that's high confidence. It's a pretty big favorite as well. Youssef Zalal against Jarno Errens. Jarno Errens is plus 275. Both these guys are 14-5-1. I think the favorite is 100% the sharp side. It's the right side as well. He's probably my highest confidence pick on the entire card. Lock of the week, most likely, but he's probably the biggest favorite on the card. That's kind of sketchy, but he fought Ilia Topuria, took him to a decision. He didn't get finished. You know, he fought pretty fucking good. I think he's going to get this win here. Jarno Errens almost knocked over the glass. Jarno Errens, this guy, he beat Stephen Wen in his last fight there, unanimous decision. He's still a low output fighter, low accuracy. He can get taken down. Stephen Wen never went for a takedown in that fight. Youssef Zalal can get takedowns, and that'll be a problem. I think he could get a submission in this fight. Jarno Errens goes for them, but he's never successful. He can maybe defend them off for a bit, but Youssef Zalal, he submitted Billy Q in his last fight. He submitted a guy that was debuting in the fight before that. Regardless, it was probably still a good opponent, and he's won multiple fights by a decision, so if he can't win by a submission, I think he'll have takedowns, control time to win the fight. I think he's going to be the better striker as well. He's very technical. He has a higher fighter's IQ, more awareness to win this fight as well. He's the favorite. I think he's the right side. Youssef Zalal, potential submission, if not unanimous decision win against Jarno Errens, who is tough, who is durable, but I don't think he can hang with Youssef Zalal. Zalal's been in there with some tough competition. Ilia Topuria took him to a decision. You know, he's getting back into the UFC as well. He doesn't want to get cut for a second time. His first time around, he's fought some pretty good level of competition. He lost a couple, he won a couple, but this time around, he's looking pretty good. It's a different Youssef Zalal. The Moroccan Devil is coming to produce in this fight. As a favorite, we're not getting a great number, but he's one of my most confident picks on the card. He's probably a lock of the week with that being said, so we can probably find another lock to put with him to produce a double up play, triple up play, something safe. Something safe. The Moroccan Devil, though, probably is going to be one of the safest favorites on the card, regardless if he can get the finish or not. He's getting his hand raised. And at the end of the day, if you know who's going to win, that's all that matters. If they get their hand raised, you're getting the win when it comes to the bets. So, next up, Karl Williams, Jhonata Diniz. Diniz is 7-0. He's a dog in this fight. He's a dog. Old Karl Williams here, 10-1, is very good. He's won his last number of fights, and he goes for takedowns. If he can't get them, it's a problem. Jhonata Diniz has all knockout wins, most of them in the first round, all but one. He took Austin Lane to the second round, where he lost the first round. He got controlled. He got taken down once, but Austin Lane went for 4 takedowns. I think If he gives up the first round, he's going to give up the second and third in this fight. The undefeated fighter. That's the underdog. So that's why he is priced as the dog, plus 187. I don't think I'm going to take it. I think I will pick Karl Williams here to implement the wrestling, to get the takedowns, to gas out Jhonata Diniz, who has never been past the first round hardly. Once he gets past the halfway point of the second round, late into the second, into the third, he might get finished. Although Karl Williams has won his last number of fights by a decision, I think this could be the one. He gets a knockout, submission. You'll have to see on Patreon, if you remember, what I'm going to do. But he has a chance to do something in this fight. In the late second, third round, I think Jhonata Diniz is going to gas. He's never been there. He's undefeated. He's the dog. Karl Williams, I think he will get the takedowns. Austin Lane had one. That says something. He had control time. That says something. Austin Lane is not. Trust me, he is not as good as Karl Williams, who's from the Virgin Islands as well. So this guy, close to, what's his name there? Jeffrey Epstein. Probably one of his kids. Probably getting special treatment from the UFC. I think he gets it done here as a favorite. I think he has people betting on him in the Virgin Islands that want him to win, that'll have him win. The underdog is interesting. He has a lot of knockouts. 7 wins, 7 knockouts, 6 in the first round. Super powerful. The hedge bet is obvious, but I'm going Karl Williams. If it's not a decision, I'm going to think it's a submission win for Karl Williams. If he is to get a finish, I'm going to fiend it to be a submission win, because I'm going to look to put a bet on it. And the next fight, I'm probably not going to bet, maybe, as a favorite. Karl Rosa against Pannie Kianzad could be a good spot. You know, I might look at betting the favorite, Karl Rosa, but is it worth it as a favorite? A women's fight, another women's fight. We got a few of them. We got 2, 3. We got 3 out of 11. That's enough. We had a streak of locks, women's locks. Now, I'm going to trust in the Brazilian in this fight. Pannie Kianzad lost her last 2. She's showing to me that she can get taken down, and when she gets taken down, she doesn't have much fight off her back. In her last fight, she got submitted in the first round. And Karl Rosa against Irene Aldana and Norma Dumont, which were her last 2 losses, she looked pretty good. She looked not bad. She's probably a good pick in this fight. Like, seriously. Those 2 losses, if you look, they're unanimous decisions, but looking at the stats, I don't think I agree. I think she could have won those fights. So, that is saying something here. Karl Rosa, it's, you know, it might be a good spot. She's a Brazilian. I love my Brazilians, and we know that we can usually trust on them. The Swedish, I've never usually been a fan of them. Anton Turkalj rings a bell. Hamzat, I don't know if he's from Sweden, though. He's all right. Gustafsson, there's not a whole lot of Swedish talent, so I'm going to side with the Brazilian. The Brazilians are pretty dominant, and when it comes to women's fighting, the 29-year-old, the younger fighter, the girl that looked better in her losses, I think will win. She's due for the win. She's been win-loss, win-loss. Due for the win. I think she'll win. I think she is a very good pick against Pannie Kianzad, who can get taken down, who doesn't show much fight when she does get taken down on the feet. She's all right. Her accuracy, meh. Her output, meh. I don't think she's a good bet. Plus 140. It's a little closer than some fights on this card, but I don't think she really has a chance. I think she could be a bigger underdog, if I'm being honest. Karl Rosa has a chance to get a submission as well. She's a good fighter. I have faith in her in this fight. She'll be in a parlay. Mid-tier, mid-level parlay. Put some units on her. Karl Rosa should win this fight. I think she's a better fighter. Come on, Karl Rosa. The Brazilian is bringing home a bag. Let's go. And next up, we got the left-handed god, Barlow, 8-0 fighting Nikolay Veretennikov. Difficult name to pronounce. He's from Kazakhstan, 12-4. He's been here before. Dana White Contender Series 2021. Week 4, he lost Michael Morales, who turned out to be a very good prospect, and he lost. Unanimous decision. And he's won his last couple fights since, all by finish. 2 knockouts, a submission. Pretty low-level competition, though, if I'm being honest myself here. I think Danny Barlow has fought the better competition. He's another big favorite on the card, but we have seen very little from him so far. He's only 8-0. He's still pretty green. And Veretennikov has been here before. He's lost to Michael Morales, who is actually a good fighter in the UFC right now. Lost the decision. He became the champion at UFL. It's not a big promotion, but he became the champion there. He's finished the competition that he fought. Low level or not, he fought guys that were 32, 38, 36, something like that. Like, he's fighting older guys that are experienced, more experienced than Danny Barlow, but Danny Barlow is 8-0. He's super technical, and his left hand, the left hand of God, is his nickname, and when you see him fight, you know why. His left hand is powerful. He can end the fight by knockout, but in this fight, I could see him winning it by a decision. It's going to be a tough battle. I think it's going to have a couple rocky situations in this fight. He could get rocked. He could get dropped. We've seen it happen to Graham Kutaladze now. I think he will survive. I think he'll battle tough. If he doesn't even get rocked, he's going to dominate. He will dominate. I think Danny Barlow is the better fighter as well. He's 5 years younger. He's training at a pretty good gym. He's excited and motivated to be in the UFC. So, he just beat Josh Quinlan, 3rd round. He was battle tested to an extent. Veretennikov is going to give him one hell of a fight. It's going to be a banger. It could be 50-50 at some point, but by the end of her, I'm going Danny Barlow for the win. Maybe a knockout. He has a chance to get one, but my official forecast, I think it'll be a banger. 15 minutes. Nikolay Veretennikov, however you say his name, is tough. I think he's durable. He went the distance with Michael Morales, undefeated fighter on the Contender Series. He's a finisher himself, but I think he is tough enough to lose a decision. I don't think he's getting knocked out, but he could. He very well could. From what I've seen, though, on the ground is where his weak point is. He gets taken down, he gets controlled, and that's how he loses his fights. He does have a chance maybe to win it if he can implement wrestling of his own. I've never seen Danny Barlow wrestle, anything like that, but he might be able to. I just haven't seen it. He's 8-0. Haven't seen much on him yet. He's still pretty green. But as a favorite, I'll trust in him to win. I think he is a good prospect. And the next fight could be sweaty as well. We have a Japanese prospect that likes to fight. He comes out there like a bat out of hell. Toshiomi Kazama, plus 162. But Charalampos Grigoriou here, he's training at Shero Longo MMA. He's with Merab Devashvili, Aljamain Sterling, Nazim Sadikov, Charlie Campbell. He's with killers every day. He's looking ripped. He's going to be able to get takedowns, control time in this fight. He's going to hit harder. Kazama's been knocked out to Garrett Armfield. Another Japanese prospect that hits super hard. Was it Nakamura? I forget the exact name of that guy here. I'll pull it up. But he's been knocked out in his last 3 losses. And although Grigoriou lost to Chad Henniger in the first round, that was his best round. He was very, very inaccurate in the fight. He has to be more inaccurate here. He has a chance to. But I don't think it's going to last long. With this guy coming out like a bat out of hell, I think Grigoriou gets a takedown or a counter-punch knockout here in the first round. Now, if the takedown occurs, I've seen him go for a submission on Instagram here while I was doing some research. That could be a good play. I don't think he has any submission wins, but that could be a play. But the problem is Kazama was knocked out to Nakamura, the Japanese prospect that hits super hard. Garrett Armfield in his last fight, and some guy that's 2-2. His chin does not hold up. Grigoriou hits super hard. He's probably going to find that counter shot in the first round, but if he gets a takedown, he could get a submission. He's been working on them, and the value on a submission must be crazy. Grigoriou has knockouts and decisions. He's never had a submission, but he's training with guys that know how to, and he's been locking them in from what I've seen on tape. So, no submission wins for Grigoriou. He has 6 knockouts, 4 in the first round, and 2 decision wins. 3 losses by a decision for Grigoriou. And if you look at Kazama, how does Zapato to hell lose here? He has 3 knockout losses, 2 of them in the first round, 1 in the second, and has 1 decision loss. His last win was on the road to the UFC against an Asian fighter here on the regional scene, 27-11. Unanimous decision. Before that, he beat a guy that was fucking 8-5. 1-1 before that, 16-7, 4-2, 2-0, 3-5. Kazama does not belong in the UFC. Grigoriou is training with killers at Cerro Longo MMA, Aljamain Sterling, Nazim Sadikov, Charlie Campbell, Merab Davashvili. There's a handful of guys there that he's putting in work with. You got to trust me, he is probably, most likely, definitely, certainly, has to be a lock of the week play. So I didn't have the locks of the week completely figured out before the show, but as I do the show, as I predicted here for everybody, I think I have the locks figured out. We're looking at Charalampos Grigoriou, if I'm saying that right. Probably am. Probably not, though. And Youssef Zalal, he's another very good pick on the card. They're looking like 2 lock of the week plays for me this week that I'm going to be looking to parlay on a heavy bet. My 2 locks are looking like Zalal and Grigoriou. I'm getting confidence as I predict the cards, so that is very positive. It's always good to talk it out with the fight fiends and forecasters. Listening each and every week, I thank them. I wish they would all smash the like button, suplex the subscribe button, because we're getting into a main card. And I'm motivating everybody to make some money, to take some locks, take some safe plays. Whatever I think is safe on this card. I really don't know. It's kind of sketchy. Although I'm locked in on 2, I have high confidence on a couple. It's maybe a little sketchy. Danny Barlow could be a lock too, right? Karol Rosa as well. So maybe the locks aren't figured out on the show. I don't have the locks figured out. But I'm getting confidence, okay? I'm getting confidence. The main card though, there could be a couple more. We got Alan Nascimento, 20-6, coming in here as a favorite against Chepe Alfilo, 16-3, and he is an underdog, plus 170. Same age, basically, for both fighters. Same reach, same height, same stance. Both from Brazil, you know. But one guy has all submission wins, Alan Nascimento. Filo has a lot of submission wins. He's going for them a lot lately. He has a couple knockouts, though. His hands are pretty quick. They're very good. And that's how he can set up a lot of his submissions. So, I think Jafel Filo as a dog could be more live than some people think. His striking is good. It's accurate. It's high output. His takedowns are good. His scrambles are phenomenal. You want me to get going about that? Well, against Muhammad Mokaev, who is now released, not getting re-signed, I guess. You know, he's not released, but he's not getting re-signed. Against Muhammad Mokaev, this guy almost submitted him. He looked very good. And he submitted Ode Osborne, Daniel Perez after that. He looks like a killer on the ground. Now he's fighting a black belt. All submission wins, 0 submission losses. All decision losses for Alan Nascimento. His last one to Tagir Ulanbekov. But against Jake Hadley, he didn't he wasn't that impressive. I think Rafael Filo has been more impressive in his last couple fights. But the level of competition, I understand it might not be as good. But I might argue that. Ode Osborne, he's not that bad. He's looking like a tank when he goes in to face off. He's a beast. Carlos Hernandez, he's just been going in there losing fights left, right, and center. So a win over him in the first round isn't that impressive. It's all right. He got the finish, made easy work of him. The rear naked choke was tight. Filo has to be aware of that because Muhammad Mokaev did submit him. You know, although he almost got the submission against Muhammad Mokaev, he still got submitted. So he could get submitted in this fight, but I think if he doesn't, on the feet, he is going to be the better striker, better accuracy, although Alan Nascimento is training with Charles Oliveira, Du Bronx at Diego Lima. So it is very tough to go against that corner, that gym, the guys that he's been training with. I understand that Nascimento is probably a good pick, but I got to find a dog. And I think in this fight, Filo might be the right side, plus 170. He's been looking very good. But he did get submitted to Muhammad Mokaev. He can get submitted in this fight. He can scramble, though. Nascimento, like I said, never, ever submitted. I don't think this is the fight that he is going to get submitted. So I would have to think Rafael Filo by a decision would be the right side. But with that being said, Filo is a finisher. He has a 100% finish rate. And I'm going to double check that. I'm almost 100%. And I am incorrect. He has one decision win. And it was very early, though. Like 2012, 2013. He's never had a decision in a long, long time. If he wins this fight as a dog, maybe he gets it done by a decision. I think that's how it's going to go down. Both guys, very good on the ground. I think they can both actually get out of any submission that's tossed up. I think they can both stop the takedowns as well. And I know most people don't appreciate it, but those scrambles on the ground can be interesting to watch as well. You got two submission artists that might go for crazy submissions in this fight. There's going to be a lot of different opportunities. I don't think either will be able to finish, though. Maybe Filo on the feet. I think he is the right side as a dog. He is the dog of the week. Tony Ferguson, he deflated my confidence in the dog of the week play, but I got to pick one, and I think Filo is a fiend to get the job done here. Tony Ferguson, it was definitely not his time, but Rafael Filo, it looks to be his time. He beat Ode Osborne, Daniel Perez, not the highest caliber guys, not the biggest names, but if he can get this done, it's a pretty credible win for him. Against Muhammad Mokaev, he put up a good fight, almost got the submission. So, you know, that wouldn't be out of the question either. Nascimento, though, he's very good on the ground. Very good. So there is a good chance he can get the submission. He is favored to win, so Filo is in for one hell of a fucking fight. Don't miss this one. It's the dog of the week. Rafael Filo, plus 170. Take a stab. Go light. We don't have to dump bankroll on this fight night. Let's be safe. Snipe out a couple spots. If you like an underdog, might be worth a shot. You know, it's a fight night at the Apex. The underdogs could be barking. Maybe you don't like the picks. Maybe you're going all underdogs. So let me know what you're doing. Let me know if there's any underdogs that I'm not picking, that you're picking on this card that I should know about. Because I'd love to hear from the fight fiends and forecasters in the comments below. Next up, women's bantamweight fight. The last women's fight we're predicting. Danielle Brooks. She's in the group chat. She's a woman. She's a woman. And she is sharp. So maybe her forecast of the week prop is going to come to light on this card here. Haven't heard from her in a while. Yana Santos is going to work, though, against Chelsea Chandler. 6-2, 14-8. Chelsea Chandler, she's heavy. But, you know, this fight, honestly, I don't know. I'm going with the heavy girl, Chelsea Chandler. She's heavy. She can get the takedowns and stay on top and just rack in the control time. It's just going to run up. And Yana Santos won't be able to get up because Chelsea Chandler's too heavy. If Chelsea Chandler gets a takedown, I think she probably keeps it there. She doesn't get a submission. She probably starts throwing down her heavy elbows, heavy punches, and Yana Santos might get split open. I think Chelsea Chandler will have more damage behind her punches, and I don't think she'll run away this time. She ran away from Norma Dumont. I don't think she's going to run away from Yana Santos. Yeah, no. She's a favorite. I like the plus 110 for Chelsea Chandler to land the heavier shots, heavy grappling up against the cage, to get the control time, to get the fight to the ground. And when it gets to the ground, trust me, when it gets to the freaking ground, Yana Santos won't be able to get up. Like, plus 110, take the women's underdog. It's probably a systems play, honestly. I don't know what to do in this fight. Take the dog. She's the heavier fighter with the heavier punches. You know, they're both 135, but Chelsea Chandler, she's a fat fiend. And she's going to fucking win. I trust her in this fight. Against Josiana Nunes, I wanted to see her get knocked out, but she didn't. She got takedowns, control time. She proved me wrong, so she better prove me right this time. Chelsea Chandler, plus 110 as another dog pick. I'm going to do it. Even if I don't like her as a fighter, and even though I don't think she has as much experience as Yana Santos, who has been in there with the better, higher caliber fighters. But the problem is, if she gets taken down, which she might, she probably will, she gets control time racked up against her. She's not going to be able to get back up. Like, I'm sorry, but Yana Santos, girl, you're going to have to stop every takedown, and she'll have to be careful of the big, heavy shots coming from Chelsea Chandler, who knocked out Julia Stolarenko in the first round a year ago. So she has a knockout win in the UFC. She has a decision win to Josiana Nunes in the UFC. She has a decision loss to Norma Dumont in the UFC. She's 2-1 in the UFC. She's fighting a girl that lost her last 3. Yeah, she lost to Holly Holm, but she got taken down and controlled in that fight. And Holly Holm is not going to be as heavy as Chelsea Chandler. And one last thing about Chelsea Chandler. She looked better against Stolarenko because Yana Santos took her to a decision and kind of struggled. So, you know what? That was 3 years ago against Stolarenko, where Stolarenko wasn't even as good as she is now. So, good win for Chelsea Chandler against Stolarenko a year ago. She looked way better against her. So, in this fight, plus 110, let's go for the dog. Maybe even take that bet. I don't like her as a fighter. I don't usually cheer for her, but I'm going to be forced to in this spot, I think. Yana Santos lost her last 3. She's still young, but she's 34. Chelsea Chandler's 33. Yeah, I don't know. Way more experience for Yana Santos. 14-8 against 6-2. Like, you know, it could go either way. Just like every other fight on this card. The third last fight of the night, Chepe Mariscal, Damon Jackson. We're in for a good fight here. These two fighters actually fought on the same card last time they fought. Alex Hernandez and Damon Jackson fought on the exact same card as Chepe Mariscal, Morgan Charrier that night. Actually, Charrier and Mariscal fought right before Jackson and Alex Hernandez. And they're both split decision wins. Who's the more credible win? Maybe Morgan Charrier. Maybe the win to Jack Jenkins for Chepe Mariscal. Maybe the Trevor Peek win for Chepe Mariscal as well. He's fought a number of high-level guys. Damon Jackson has as well. He's been knocked out as well, you know what I mean? So his chin, I can't trust it. I don't think his striking is that accurate or powerful. But he's proved me wrong. He's proved me right as well. When he did get the knockout against Pat Sabatini, I had him to win by finish. I just hit that glass again. Holy fuck. Damon Jackson, he's intense, man. Sometimes he can come out there and pull the rabbit out of the hat. He's kind of sketching me out right now. He's just staring at me. Yeah, I don't enjoy this Damon Jackson picture. I'm sorry, everybody. That's all I could find, but yeah, so Chepe Mariscal, I think he's going to beat his ass. Damon Jackson, he's not a very good striker. Chepe Mariscal can keep it on the feet and dominate. Heavier striking, good leg kicks, and Damon Jackson is just going to shell up. He barely beat Alex Hernandez. Barely beat him. Low output. He can get takedowns, but Chepe can get back up. He can stop them. I think this is a clear pick. Chepe Mariscal. And this fight kind of pushes the winner into the upper echelon of the featherweight division. It's going to get interesting. Being 4 years younger, I got to trust Chepe Mariscal as well. He fires away on the feet. He's going to be the better striker. Like, it comes down to that. I can't trust Damon Jackson and his striking. He pulls some crazy fights out of the hat, but this might not be the one coming off a win here. I just don't believe in him at this point. He's 35. He has a couple more fights left in him. A couple more to win as well, but, I just don't know. He's number fucking 20 worldwide, and Chepe is 56 worldwide. But Chepe is actually a decent level of competition to be fighting. Damon Jackson, I don't think he's getting knocked out. He could. He got knocked out to Dan Iggy, but decision loss to Billy Q. Not looking too good. His win to Dan Argueta looks a little good, though. Argueta was 8-0 at the time, and that was a tough fight for Damon Jackson. That was on his 4-fight win streak as well, so he wasn't just a fish out of the water. He won 4, lost 2, won 1. Maybe he's going back on a win streak. He just won a fight after losing 2, but Damon Jackson, I don't think his striking's that good. I don't think he's that accurate. I don't think he has the best output. I can't trust him at this point. At 35, I gotta go Chepe Mariscal. Now, if you talk about the level of competition that he has fought, he's 16-6. He does not have as many wins, but he has a couple more fights to go. I think he'll start racking up a couple more here. He'll get to 20-6 potentially. Like, he has a lot of experience at this point coming into the UFC. He fought Steve Garcia. He got knocked out in that fight, second round. He fought Joanderson Brito, knocked out in the first round. He fought Bryce Mitchell, lost to decision. This was back in 2017 against Bryce Mitchell. And then he fought Gregor Gillespie, knockout loss to Gregor there, 2016. So that's how he lost. And his most recent loss was to Sean Soriano, 12-6, unanimous decision, 2020. So he hasn't lost since. He won his last 6. And he's won by decision, verbal tap out, arm injury to Jack Jenkins. I thought it was the leg kick, sorry. No, it was the verbal stoppage there to Jack Jenkins with the arm injury. But he was using some leg kicks in that fight to go to work. Trevor Peake, unanimous decision as well. Ground and pound in the second round to a guy that was 18-9. Head kick knockout in the second round as well here to a guy that was 12-8. And 6-4, he knocked him out in the second round. He's not getting the knockout. Damon Jackson is probably good enough to not get knocked out. He's not that bad on the feet, so we can cross out the knockout for Chepe Mariscal. Mariscal, to win a decision, he did it against Morgan Charrier. He was maybe en route to do it against Jack Jenkins if it wasn't for that arm injury. And yeah, he lost the decision to Sean Soriano. Not a good look. If he wins this fight, the favorite, Chepe Mariscal, I'm telling you, it's probably a decision win for him. Damon Jackson is probably durable enough. I'm saying probably because anything can happen on this card. I wouldn't be too positive on anything. Damon Jackson, he's fought the higher caliber guys. You heard me talk about the knockout wins for Chepe Mariscal, not the best. His last loss, Sean Soriano, was 12-6, unanimous decision. So if Damon Jackson, if he wins as a dog, I'll be very upset. I'm picking against him. I don't like picking against him. But at 35, knowing that he's probably not the better striker in this fight, I just don't think I can pick him. He lost to Billy Q. Unanimous decision. Knocked out cold to Dan Iggy in the second. Knocked out cold in the first to Ilya Taporia. Knocked out cold to a guy that was 13-0. So he's not getting knocked out. I'll trust his chin, even though it's hard. He knocked out Pat Sabatini, 17-3 at the time in the first. That's a big win. 8-0 Dan Argueta. 4-7 Alex Hernandez. Split in the last fight. Not looking the best, but he has beat better guys, honestly. Camuel Leclerc, 11-4, triangle in the second. Decision to Charles Rosa, 14-5 at the time. He beat Mirsad Bektik, 13-3. Third round guillotine choke. First round submission before that to a guy that was 14-5. Chepe never submitted. Chepe knocked out a few times. I don't know. This is a sweaty fight. What a sweaty fight. Damon Jackson's sketching me out too. Look at him staring at me with his fists up. Yeah, I'm done breaking this fight down. Damon Jackson's sketching me out here. I'm going Chepe Mariscal. Low confidence at this point. Fucking Christ. And now we got the co-main event. Javid Bashrat coming off a loss. And now into a matchup with Chris Gutierrez, a guy that loves the leg kicks. Watch out for that. He's going to be throwing leg kick after leg kick. He does nothing else, honestly. Now, that's going to hurt him in this fight because Javid Bashrat, it's Javid. I don't know why I was saying Javid. But Javid Bashrat is going to win this fight.
Too bad it got fucking canceled.
Next up in the main event, Marcin Tybura, Serghei Spivac. 50-50 fight, priced 50-50. You're getting plus 100, double your money for Marcin Tybura, a guy that just beat Tai Tuivasa, submission, rear naked choke. And this is the second time these two guys are fighting. The first time, Tybura had takedowns, control time, and dominated in 3 rounds. This is 5. That's not very good for Spivac. I think Spivac has the worst cardio in this fight. Probably the worst cardio on this card. Hopefully not, because he's not a bad pick, but it's a sweaty one. I don't like my pick either, Marcin Tybura, if I'm being honest. He's 38. He just beat Tai Tuivasa. He could be due for a loss. But I like the fact that Tybura won the first fight. I like the fact that he got the takedowns and control time in the first fight. So he's probably the better grappler. On the feet, he's the better striker as well. Serghei Spivac against Cyril Gane literally threw nothing. He threw under 20 strikes in the first round. He had nothing to offer. In a lot of other fights too, he's been pretty low output. His gas has been questionable. He's been using his takedowns and control time to win, his submissions. Remember that Derek Lewis fight? He had 4 takedowns in the first round. He's not having that against Marcin Tybura. Tybura's 38, and for 38, he has a great cardio, and he can go 25 minutes. I don't know if I can say the same about Serghei Spivac. You got to think about that when predicting the fight, when picking the fight, when betting this fight. It's a 5-round fight. It's a heavyweight fight. Can you trust your fighter to go fucking 25 minutes? Serghei Spivac? I think he's the heavier fighter. He is the heavier fighter. He's going to weigh in heavier. He's going to look fatter. And I think his cardio is going to be way worse. And I need the guy with the better cardio in the main event. 5-round fight here. 38 years old. He has a lot more experience as well. He won the first fight. He knows exactly what to do to win it again. I got to trust him. Double my money. Marcin Tybura. I know Serghei Spivac is probably a good pick. You might think it's a good pick, but I'm not positive in the prospect, Serghei Spivac. I'm trusting in Marcin Tybura to produce a bag here at the Apex. We've seen a lot of favorites win in the last number of fights in the main event. Belal Muhammad was the first underdog to win. Finally, ruined that streak. Now, we've seen a favorite in the last one, Umar Nurmagomedov, lock of the week play. This one, 50-50, a little bit of a underdog price towards Marcin Tybura. I think we see another dog here. In the last 10 main event fights, we've seen maybe 8 or 9 favorites. I think this one here is a dog. Marcin Tybura. Plus 100. Hopefully he grows as a dog. Hopefully everybody goes Serghei Spivac. That's what I hope. I hope everybody thinks Serghei Spivac is probably a good pick. Because I'm not thinking he is. And I want to get as much plus money on Tybura that I can. Honestly, at this point, I want to get as much plus money on this guy that I can. I don't know if he's going to lock in another submission, if he can knock out Serghei Spivac, but he will win the fight for the second time, and he'll win in the main event at the Apex here. We must pick our spots wisely, bet wisely, and look to produce bags at the Apex. Rather if it's a really good fight night, a bunch of good fighters, a sloppy card, a very tough card to predict, this, that, and the other. We will get paid, and we will have fun with the card. It was not easy to predict, so please, all that I ask, to help me out, like the video, comment below, help with the algorithm. It was a very difficult card to forecast, to give a pick for. I showed my confidence. I showed which fights I didn't really have confidence on, but all I'm here to do is show you what I'm doing on the card, give you my pick, my confidence level if I can, try to steer you in the right direction. If you want to join Patreon to see my confidence levels, which round I think the fight will end in, if I think there's a finish in the fight, the forecasted percentage on each and every fight, the line movement tracker, everything. This, that, and the above. Join Patreon. $5 a month. We got 4 events in a month, so it's probably worth $5 a month. If you've seen the very start of this video, you've seen the wins. I don't need to show you again. We profited 40 units from UFC Abu Dhabi. I don't know if we're going to fucking profit 40 units again at UFC Vegas 95. So this is not a great time to do a promotion for the Patreon, but hopefully we're profitable. I hope. Come back for the props and parlay show, and I'll put together some parlays, some parfaits of the main card prop, prelim prop, the forecast of the week, a forecaster's most confident prop at plus money. Yeah, you're right, it's probably Frank Bush. But if you have a most confident prop at plus money, you got one prop on this card that's tough to predict, that's, catching your eye, you need the sunglasses for, let me know in the comments below. Put hashtag forecast of the week. I hope you all enjoyed this video. And like I said, the props and parlay show will be out later in the week. Thursday, Friday. I can't make any promises. I'm not positive when I will have it out. So hopefully Thursday. If not, it'll be Friday. Stay tuned. Hit the notification button now so you're notified as soon as new videos drop. Subscribe now if you have not yet. And please, all what you can do to help me out, if you don't want to pay $5 a month, if you don't want to comment, quickly like the video. It's not that hard. Just like the video.
Smash the like button like you mean it.
Let's go, Fight Fiends and Forecasters. We're back for another week, looking for some more big bags. But it's going to be difficult. Trust me.